Welcome to the Get Real with King Arthur show. Wish we could hear from some of you. Wonder what's going on when I talk and Victoria talks. Anyway, we're still at those two fantastic poems written in the 19th century. Shelley's Hymn to Intellectual Beauty and Wordsworth, Lines Written a Few Miles Above Tintern Abbey. And last time we said that through nature they discovered God. Now they don't mention God, Jesus, or the usual terminology. That may bother you. I don't know. And although Shelley says in Hymn to Intellectual Beauty, I called on those names, all the ones I was given as a kid, and I didn't get any answer. Those names with which our youth is fed. And he said, remember, he went through, his sister Helen said we went through the house with a flaming liquid, and he went through starlight woods and caves and ruins, and he wasn't heard, didn't hear anything. But in springtime, suddenly, as the plants were budding and whatnot, intellectual beauty, a hymn, that's a church song, to beauty, which is intellectual, and just plain beauty. And he said, I shrieked and clasped my hand in ecstasy. And Wordsworth said that pleasant days of my childhood were all gone by. First, glad animal movements, and then nature was all in all. I was wild. But a deep distress hath humanized my soul. And something has replaced those early ecstatic movements. In both cases, the difficulties in life prepared each poet for an awareness of what you want to call it, God, the supreme reality, whatever. Now, what was it? In Shelley's case, we know that when he was about 10 years of age, he went to a prep school called Sion House Academy. I found the building. It's now a place where monuments like headstones and mantelpieces fill the yard. And a man was there. I said, is this Sion House Academy? Yes. Is this used to be the school, Sion House Academy? Yes. Well, I said, it's here that Shelley learned to hate tyranny. He yawned, said, this is where Shelley grew angry and tried to reform the world. And his call resounded throughout the world. Boy, he jumped back. But Shelley was furious at how he was bullied and teased at Sion House Academy, and also at Harrow, not Harrow Prep School, the one by the great one, yes, Senior Moment. Anyway, one by the castle and whatever. Now, so this agony that he experienced in the world, he called the world this veiled, dark, dim veil of tears. He said that nothing can separate us from doubt, chance, and change. And he said about this intellectual beauty, don't depart, lest the grave should be like life, a dark reality. I told you. Don't think you're going to the romantic poets and find little beauty clouds and lollipops and whatnot. They're the roughest. And in that background, he found this called intellectual beauty for him. And he said that it consecrates each human face and countenance. It's the only thing that gives life and truth to life's unquiet dream. And so he sees it as, he said, I vowed that I would consecrate my life to you. Haven't I kept the vow? Stayed up all night long. There never an hour departed from my brow with joy except a prayer that thou wouldst free the world from its dark slavery. Listen, the 19th century poet and essayist Matthew Arnold, in the stanzas from the Grand Chartreuse, called moderns light half-believers of their casual creeds. No, it doesn't work. Half-believers, casual creeds. Now, the same is true with Wordsworth. And he said, that's departed my early playful glad animal movements and my ecstasy in nature, running around and whatnot. A deep distress hath humanized my soul. And we know that when he first went as a junior to Europe and crossed the Alps with his friend Jones, he was ecstatic. Bliss was it then to be alive. And it's the early days of the French Revolution, and he was ecstatic. But what happened is not only did he father an illegitimate child and couldn't take her back to England with him, but in Paris, he almost got caught up as a Girondist into the French Revolution and would have been killed. If he had, he said, something called, poverty called me back to England providentially, or I would have been a dead poet. And then he said, I don't regret that early ecstasy is gone, because I felt a presence a spirit whose presence is the light of sinking sun and the wide ocean and the green air and in the mind of man. And this was recompense. And this reality is what sustains him in life. Something that beyond that early ecstasy in poetry, but both poets were not light half-believers of the casual creeds. It was trouble that led them to, you can say God, deep reality. Now, I don't know. You may not like this truth that I'm saying right now, but I don't know that you can be a great writer without trouble in your life. Now, you could write me and say, you're wrong, you old pessimist. I don't think so. I don't. And another romantic poet, Keats, when he was thinking about what is the purpose of life, and he certainly saw the tragedy. His mother died of TB. His father had an accident and died when he was 14. His brother died of TB. He got TB. He said, why trouble in the world? And listen to this answer. I think we are in the veil of soul making. How can essences achieve identity except in a world of trouble and sorrow? Woo! A 24-year-old, 23-year-old Keats. Wow. And, maybe you think that's a depressing thought. No, I think the trouble makes us get real. Yes. And find a deep, sustaining truth in the change and fluctuation and instability of life. Well, we can rejoice at that, can't you? No. Take a drink of coffee on me and say, well, all right, I've had some rough spots in my life, but good has come out of them. And if you haven't had some rough spots, hold on, you will. But you become real. And so, like Shelley and like Wordsworth, distress and trouble may lead you to a higher reality. And so, I think that's kind of optimistic. You better believe it's optimistic or I will slam you in the side of your face. Have a good week.